A friend introduced me to her. She was tall, with long brown hair that flew in the spring air, and she had a boyfriend back home in Cincinnati. I was going home to Chicago in just a couple of weeks. I knew I couldn't fall in love. A few days later, I was up late when I heard a knock on my door. There she stood, a Kit Kat bar in one hand and a bag of chips in the other. She wanted to introduce herself again. Her freckles danced across her face, but I couldn't fall in love. One night, we were watching a movie with some friends. 4 of us, crammed on a dorm bed. She rested her head against my shoulder. I smiled, a real smile, but I couldn't fall in love. We went stargazing at the park, only one day until I had to leave. We swung on the swings while staring at the sky. For a summer night, the air was frigid. She only had a t-shirt on, shaking from the cold. I took off my hoodie with claims of being warm. She put it on. She looked at me. She smiled. Somehow, with only a t-shirt on, I felt warm. At some point, she gave it back. It was mine anyway. I couldn't fall in love. Later that night, I was laying in bed when I heard a knock at my door. There she stood, a Kit Kat in one hand and a bag of chips in the other. She said she wanted to hang out for a little bit longer because I was leaving the next day. We talked until the sun came up. No matter how much I talked with her, I never wanted it to stop. But I couldn't fall in love. I packed up my car and said my goodbyes to everyone. I stopped by her room last. I hugged her goodbye. She gave me a card. I gave her one too. And then I left. When I opened the card on the way home, sealed inside was a Kit Kat and a bag of chips. She said she loved getting to know me and that she couldn't wait to see me next semester. I couldn't wait. A month later, I flew to Cincinnati. She picked me up in her red Subaru from the airport. As we drove, we caught up on life. She and her boyfriend had broken up. We stopped in the old Navy parking lot by her house. I gave her the gift I brought her, a stuffed panda. She said she loved it and kissed me on the cheek. I touched her face, looked her in the eyes, and we kissed. And I fell in love.